Hey, what's up folks? Will back once again for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down UFC Japan, UFC Fight Night 117 from Saitama Super Arena as Ovince Saint-Preux faces off against Yushin Thunder Okami in the main event. Okami coming in here on short notice as Shogun Hua pulled out with an injury at the weekend there. Sorry for getting this out so late, I had some family stuff crop up, I had work. So it's been really tough to try and get it out, and if I'm being honest, we're actually looking at more fights at UFC 216 than I am at this one. I've watched majority of fights in this one over the last 7 to 10 days, but 216 is taking my attention right now. So we're going to get straight into this. As always, you can follow me at Will Martin MMA on Twitter. Come follow my podcast, MMA Huddle. You'll find us across all formats. You can get us on iTunes now, so you can come and subscribe and listen to us talk about fights last weekend at UFC Pittsburgh, Cage Warriors Bama, look ahead to UFC Japan, and we take your questions as well. So we're going to get into this straight away. I'm not going to try and take too much of your time, maybe a good solid 20 minutes, and that'll be enough, because to say the cards it could end up being fun. If you're looking at it from just a fan's perspective, it's not the most star-studded card you're ever going to see, but again, I think you might get some entertaining matchups. So starting off in the welterweight division, this is the fight I'm looking forward to. Daichi Abe makes his UFC debut against Hyun Gyu Lim in a banger. This should be a good fight. If you go back and watch Daichi Abe, you'll find these fights on UFC Fight Pass. Fought against Kenta Tagaki, which was a really fun fight, very sloppy, lots of back and forth between. I think there was like 4 knockdowns in the first round. Lots of big strikes were thrown. There was like an injury Tagaki had to his eye, like he could barely see. What I liked about him was he threw a nice straight right hand, but very kind of rudimental in his striking, and very not very good footwork, so he's right in front of you there. Hyun Gyu Lim is a huge welterweight, but he doesn't fight smart, and he really burned me the last time we fought against Mike Perry back at UFC 202, where he just stood in front of Mike Perry, and we know what Mike Perry is now. He's got that big power, but he just stood there, he offered nothing, he was just a target, and Mike Perry took advantage of that and put him down. So I'm a little bit initially I thought maybe the newcomer could get this, but then when I looked into the kind of dimensions of Hyun Gyu Lim, he's longer, I think he hits harder, and I think he can throw in leg kicks there if needs be. It's not something he does very often, but he can do it. I think that Lim's going to catch him early, and I think he's going to put him down early. Either that, or he's going to his opponent's going to catch a big knee and go down with that. So I'm going to go with a first round TKO there for Hyun Gyu Lim. Staying in the welterweight division with the returning Shinsho Anzai against Luke the Jedi Jamo. Anzai, we haven't seen him since like 2015, I think it was, where he fought Roger Zapata. I mean, that's a long ass time ago, and he won that fight via TKO. Who knows who he was supposed to face Luan Chagas, I think, last year at some point, and pulled out injured, and then it's been another 13-14 months since that fight was scheduled that he's got himself a fight here. So he's against Luke Jamo. I think Luke's got the beating of him here. I think he actually surprised me in his UFC debut. When you watch his fights before the UFC, he was getting taken down constantly by guys who are not overly great grapplers. That's where I thought Dominic Steele was going to have trouble, give him trouble, and I think he only got the one takedown. Jamo stopped a lot of takedowns, which was really impressive to me, because Steele, he's not a great fighter, but he does harness a lot of power, a lot of aggression, and he will go for the takedown. But he showed that he's got really crisp boxing. When he puts his combinations together, he's very dangerous. I think he can do that here against Anzai. Anzai is a guy who comes out very hard in the first round, and then he can kind of gas late on. So I like Jamo to just fight technical, fight smart, and eventually he'll get a finish here. So I like a late round 2 TKO victory there for Luke Jamo. Syuri Kondo against Mi Jeon. Kondo's a woman I actually recognise more from the professional wrestling side of things. She's been doing that for a long time. She's like the queen of pancreas in the strawweight division over there. So she has 5-0, very decent grappling, very basic striking though. So she's gonna look to try and take this to the ground, and look to just kind of, I think she's going to try and lie on Jeon here. But I think what I liked about Jeon in her fight with JJ Aldridge, although she lost it, she was very tough. She stood there, she threw, she had some nice kind of combinations, nothing that really stood out. She's just a really kind of solid fighter who I think it's probably too early in a UFC run, in all honesty. But I like her in this one here. I think if Kondo can't secure the takedowns, that Jeon could light her up a little bit later on in the fight, potentially get a finish. But I think that Jeon's just... I think she might have a tough round one, but I think Jeon could come into it late on and win a decision. So I'm going to go... I think she'll lose the first, she'll win the last two for a 29-28 decision there. I'm looking forward to see Chanmi Jeon again, but yeah, not a fight. I think a fight that I think she can win late on is what I'm trying to say. Flyweight division, this is a good fight. Jussier Formiga against Ulka Sasaki. I've seen people say Sasaki's got a chance in this one just with the fact that he can catch you and like he spider away with submissions. But that's if you're stupid and you put your head in positions where you shouldn't, i.e. Justin Scoggins. So yeah, Formiga is the more dominant grappler here. He is one of the guys I actually like watching quite a lot of in the flyweight division for his very simple technique on the ground. He's so solid in his techniques on the ground. Very, very dominant. That's where the only place where I can see Sasaki catching him is with those long limbs, getting that leverage and getting a submission. I don't see it. I see Formiga beating him up in the feet, getting in and out. Sasaki will have the length his advantage, so he could be trying to pop those long distance shots. But I think Formiga, for me, is going to get into the clinch. He's going to get a takedown. He's going to really be the guy on the ground and really kind of switch positions and potentially get a submission. So I think I'm actually going to pick him via submission in this one. I'm going to pick him early round, third round submission for Jussier Formiga. I thought he had a tough loss against Rayborg. I thought probably the right decision in all honesty, but he's going to want to look here to get back into the winning circle, and I think Sasaki is a good opponent for him here. Don't see Sasaki causing too many problems for him, so Formiga sub round 3, if not 30-27 decision. Keita Nakamura against Alex Morono is next. I'm edging Alex Morono in this one. I think he's just a tougher guy. Nakamura, to his credit, is a really tough vet. Gave like Tom Breeze a really good fight at UFC London last year, and it's just a grizzled vet. Really, really tough guy. Coming off that loss last time out via decision, where he lost to, I've totally forgotten who he was against again. Elias dos Santos. Yeah, that kind of rings a bell because I remember Nakamura was it was like a 130-140 favourite in that one, and I really liked Zaleski dos Santos as well, so I think I ended up betting Zaleski in that one and managed to cash that. Went over Kyle Noak. Obviously the Tom Breeze fight was a loss. Li Jingliang, which I think is a really good submission to have, because I think Li Jingliang, although he doesn't stand out in many aspects, I think he's a tough guy to fight as well. So this is the fight that I think Morono's aggressiveness and just his kind of bullish ways will win him the fight. I see him being the cleaner guy in the strikes. I see him not getting put in the ground, which Nakamura I think will try and do. And if he can keep it standing and get into that later into that fight, I think that Morono will win the fight. I'm not counting out Nakamura. I think he's got a chance because he is a grizzled veteran and he has a lot of experience of probably similar fights like this with a guy very, very aggressive. But I like Morono. I think over 3 rounds he will kind of hurt Nakamura a little bit. Nakamura's toughness will shine through and he'll get to decision. But I like, maybe Nakamura will get around, but I like a decision victory there for Alex Morono. So that's our prelims out the road. Moving on to the main card, which really is not that good, but interesting fights nonetheless, and people I'm looking forward to kind of seeing, especially the co-main event and a guy making his debut in the UFC, which is a little bit interesting. So we'll start in the featherweight division. We've got Mizuto Hirota against Charles Rosa. Hirota, a small, stocky Japanese fighter who is just a tough guy to face. I thought his toughness showed through in that fight with Alexander Volkanovski. He was getting beat up, he was getting hit with some big shots, but he stayed in the fight and he was never out of it. He gave it his all, even though he got thoroughly beaten in all honesty in all facets of the game. Showed a lot of heart to stick in it and stick around. I think this is a more winnable matchup than that Volkanovski fight. I think on the feet It's pretty. I think that Rosa takes it just a little bit. I think he's a more varied striker. He's kind of mixed up. That since his UFC debut, you've seen progression with his striking. It's still not great, but I think it's enough to beat someone like Mizuto Hirota. When it comes to the grappling side, I think that Charles Rosa is savvy. He can get you to the ground, and once he gets you to the ground, he's a hard guy to get off. I know he's been training with this fight with Cole Miller, who's faced Hirota before. So even though Hirota beat him, so still, at least he's got a little bit of experience of a former foe of Hirota. I think he's just going to be a little bit better guy overall. Not confident in the picks. It's in Japan. Hirota will be G'd up for this fight. But the pick is going to be Charles Rosa. I'm going to go via a 29-28 decision in that one there. Close fight, but I think he gets the nod in it. Staying in the featherweight division, we've got Teruto Ishihara against Rolando D. Teruto Ishihara cost me so big at back in the summer International Fight Week against Gray Maynard. It was one of the worst fights. I was so confident that it was going to be Ishihara was going to let his hands go and just put Gray Maynard to sleep. All the ingredients were there for him to do that, except he showed absolutely zero takedown defense, zero will to go off his back. So I am done betting Teruto Ishihara, even though I think I saw the line come out. It was quite close, like -130, which is fairly decent, but I can't go anywhere near Teruto Ishihara after that last performance. Think he's got a winnable opponent here against Rolando D. They're going to want to stand and trade. I think he was a little bit lucky in that fight with Alex Caceres. He caught an eye poke, which really did affect him. How do I see this fight going? Teruto needs to let his hands go. He never let his hands go against Artem. He never let his hands go against Gray Maynard. He has to let them go here. Has to be careful because Rolando D, I think, has some fast hands. He can put some very fast combinations together. But I think the more powerful, bigger hitter is Teruto, and he throws weird strikes as well. So if this stays standing, I only see him really TKOing this guy. So round 2 TKO for Ishihara here, and he moves on, gets back in the winner's circle. But he burned me bad back in the summer. So the pick's going to be Ishihara, but no bet on him there. It was a guy I was actually looking at, but then I just couldn't do it. Light heavyweight division, the debuting Gökhan Saki faces off against Henrique de Silva. Now this is interesting. I'm not a big kickboxing guy. I do watch a bit now and then, but I know who Gökhan Saki is. He's faced the best that sport has to offer. He fought an MMA fight like 12 years ago against James Zigic, but this guy's faced a legit who's who, and he's beat some really good guys. I mean, he beat Tyrone Spong, he beat Daniel Zita, he faced Rico Verhoeven, Sammy Shelty he faced in the past. So he's faced some legit guys in that kickboxing side. But it's an interesting fight here because if he comes out, and I think he really has to go at Henrique de Silva quick, but I think he can. I think when the first couple of exchanges, he could definitely knock him out with his striking. Huge left hand, huge. In fact, both hands are huge. You can go back and watch all the knockouts of his on YouTube and so on. Crazy knockouts. I can't remember the one where he levelled a guy who kind of jumped back and then he planked back and hit the mat, and it was all done from there. Interesting fight, because if this fight hits the ground, I see Henrique de Silva submitting him very quickly as well. But this fight starts on the feet, and I think if he comes out aggressive and just gets off first and lands a strike, I think he can put Henrique de Silva down. But it's that big if, because if he gets put in the ground, I see him getting submitted very quickly as well. But I don't think you're going to get a more winnable fight in the 205 division than this guy. So I'm actually going to pick the newcomer. This is the one that I've kind of changed my mind on in the last 24 hours. I was going to pick Henrique de Silva. I think if he gets it to the ground, it's over. But it starts in the feet. So I'm going to go Gökhan Saki via round 1 TKO in the first 90 seconds of the fight. But it'll be interesting to see if it goes into later rounds, because Henrique de Silva has been known to gas in his fights. So I'm going to pick Saki, round 1 TKO, not overly confident, interested to see the fight. But yeah, the pick's going to be Saki, round 1 TKO. lightweight division, we have Takanori Gomi against Hyun Kim, the Maestro. Takanori Gomi has no right really being in the UFC octagon. This is his swan song. I firmly believe if he wins this fight, if he loses this fight, he should step away from the sport, because I mean, he's taking beatings and he's gassing like really badly. Now he is losing to fairly decent guys. I mean, Joe Lozon, he lost to Diego Sanchez, even though I think Diego got very, very lucky in that one there. But he's lost to, I mean, Joe Lozon, Jim Miller, tough guys. Miles Jury was just, that fight should never have been put together. And then he lost to a kind of run-of-the-mill guy in John Tuck, but he was far superior. When you watch the tape, you can see where he could hurt Takanori Gomi, and he did it. Hyun Kim, to his credit, it's just that he was in that scrap at UFC 199. I can't remember his opponent. Was it Polo Reyes? It was. He was supposed to fight Thibault Gouti in the New Zealand card this year. That got pulled the day of the fights because Gouti got ill. His only UFC win is against Brendan O'Reilly, which is not saying a lot. But I'm confident in him in this fight because I don't think Gomi has it anymore. So I think eventually this fight's going to hit the mat, and I think he's going to unleash some heavy ground and pound, and Gomi's just going to start wilting away and taking shots, and the ref's going to step in here. I think maybe end of round number 1. I'm going to go round number 2 though. For Hyun Kim there, it's a shame to see Takanori Gomi go out like that. His UFC run hasn't been the best, but I would 100% would love to see Takanori Gomi win this fight, but I just don't see it happening. But the pick's going to be Hyun Kim. Best fight in the card, Claudia Gadelha against Jessica Andrade. I'm pretty confident in Claudia Gadelha in this one here. Anybody that knows me knows I rate Joanna Jędrzejczyk very, very highly. She is the top of the food chain in that division. Literally just below is Claudia Gadelha, and I don't think she's far away from actually beating Joanna Jędrzejczyk. What I like what Claudia's did is she's left Nova União, she's moved across to Albuquerque, does a little bit of Jackson Winks, but has got a team together that is literally formulated to get her to win this fight. Like, everything's about Claudia, and that is something I actually really like. All the focus is on her and all the aspects of the upcoming fight. So yeah, interesting fight because we know what Andrade is. She's a bulldozer, comes forward, she's come down for the 135 pound weight division, gave a decent performance against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Joanna was just levels above, was in and out, was catching her with strikes before Andrade even knew it was coming. The way I see this fight going, on the feet, I think Jessica probably just has the advantage. I think it is still close because Claudia's been, like, she's got better having to face Joanna. She dropped Joanna with a jab, I think it was, in that first round in the second fight. But I think once this goes to the ground, I think that Claudia is just the better fighter down there, personally. I think she can control the fight down there. Andrade, to her credit, gets taken down quite easily, but she pops back up very, very quickly. But I think Claudia, if she can get against the cage and maybe get a trip, take her down, I think she can dominate down there. I see this kind of being over 3 rounds, her doing that. Is trying to make it dirty, not dirty, get to the clinch, maybe push against the cage, initiate trips, and just control from the top position, and maybe get a finish by submission in there. I don't see it. I see a pretty comprehensive 30-27, if not a 29-28 for her, but the pick's going to be Claudia Gadelha. And the main event, there's not much to say in this. Ovince Saint-Preux against Yushin Okami. Pick's going to be Ovince Saint-Preux. Yushin Okami has no right fighting up at 205. I know why he's in here. Former UFC middleweight, he fought like 4 years ago. Went to World Series of Fights and did okay over there, to be fair. He dropped down from middleweight to welterweight, so he's going up another division now. He's always been a big guy. He was a big guy in middleweight when he was in the UFC, but he's moving up to a huge division here. Now, I'm not really confident in Ovince Saint-Preux because sometimes this guy just does not show up. He doesn't throw enough strikes. He's a little bit lackadaisical sometimes. Doesn't do enough. This is where I think this fight, if Ovince Saint-Preux comes out like that and doesn't turn up, then Okami might have a chance. I just don't see it. I see Saint-Preux being a little bit faster, better on the feet, getting the fight to the ground and trying corking out one of those nice kind of Von Flue chokes or Americana submission or something that we've seen him nail in the past. But the pick's going to be Ovince Saint-Preux. I'm going to pick him via second round submission. Actually quite nice to see Yushin Okami back. Shame about Shogun Hua, because I wanted to see Shogun get some revenge over OSP for that devastating knockout maybe 2 years ago. So yeah, the pick's going to be OSP, second round submission there. So that's my picks for UFC Japan. A nice quick one. Again, apologies for getting this out late. Real life setting and I had to do other things. So hopefully this time next week I will have my UFC, or maybe take the next 10 days I'll have the UFC 216, which is a card I love from top to bottom. So many good fights. I'm looking forward to with DJ against Borg, finally hopefully getting that on. Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson, Gökhan was on there, so that's a legit fight against Cody Stamen. So come follow me on Twitter, Will Martin MMA, and just thank you all again for your support and your comments down below. I really do appreciate it. See you all soon. Take care. I'll be back for 216 very, very soon.